doing, everyone? Everything you all hear me nice and clear. Yeah, you all should be hearing me nice and clear. Let me just double check too. Making sure you all hear me good. It's a bit of a static. I don't know why that's happening, but hey, we'll figure it out then. Okay, yeah, you all hear me nice and clear. That's wonderful. That's good. Yeah, so we just got a couple of videos here to react to get into here real quick. Oh my god, I forgot to give me 1 second. Shit, I forgot to start this thing real quick. Shit. Like I usually have the chat or whatever, but I forgot to start it. Hopefully this doesn't affect anything though. I'll want me to find out. Give me 1 second here real quick. Yeah, my this bro, I've earlier this side game I can shoot into streaming and just a lot of things been going on. So okay, I think it's so this real quick. Yeah, sure there, but okay, yeah, it's okay. Nice, cool, it's okay. Nice, dope. Right, so sorry about that technical difficulties, but now we're back. So yeah, just a couple of videos here to react to it. My time is a bit limited because I have a lot of stuff to do because I'm been very busy. A lot of these past few days, a lot of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. So I have to try my best to see what time I can fit into live stream. And obviously my other live stream got cut off because of some stupid just YouTube, YouTube and the AI just so annoying. But it is what it is. But yeah, just gonna couple of videos here to react to and just have a good time with you all here. And we, as I also make this platform on this this channel here just for everybody to learn and everybody to connect and network with each other, and you all learn with me and I learn with you all too as well. So let's just gonna get into this pretty quickly. So let me just share my screen. Right, there we go. So the first video here I'm going to dive into is should you become a freelancer? And if I decided, can I give you a quick backstory real quick before we get into this video? There there was a time like a few months ago, a few weeks ago, right, where I would have applied for a job, right, and for some reason it got rejected. I mean I don't understand why the business never really clarified with me what was the issue. But I was kind of a bit skeptical on what they can be a bit I'm too qualified. Maybe it's racism. I mean I'm not too sure. That's assuming, right? So and I think I applied for many different jobs. Like at least I would say 5 maybe 10 different jobs, and there were jobs that were looking for my qualifications, right? So I was a bit shocked when I didn't get a response from these businesses, because I'm like, how do you really want the youths to help develop the country if you're not giving them the finances nor the support in order to help them grow their brand or grow their knowledge within that field, right? And it just made me realize that at this point, you have to create your own job. It kind of come to a point where those who have jobs, they might keep your job. You know what you have to do across the world. See, I mean, my goal is obviously become an entrepreneur. I don't want to work for nobody and work for myself, right? But I mean, if your job is just to work for someone else, I mean, for all fair to you, but I need to I need to work on my own time, man. I'm good. But yeah, so by me just applying, and my resume just keep getting rejected, and there's no contact or no message or whatever from the businesses, my other issue just my thought, right? It just to be like, you know what, bro? Like I'm not gonna here and look to stoop down and bend down to these businesses. I just create my own business, my own plan, my own future, my see where life can take me. And yeah, bro, like to me, you just you just have to do it on your own, because like if no one isn't going to give you the opportunity, like you just have to create it like that. It's simple as that, man. Like, I mean, obviously, if you're religious as well, too, I don't mean to kind of go religious here too, but I mean, if you're religious as well, like you obviously pray to God and or Allah, or whichever one you guys believe on, he would help you achieve your goal and achieve that job, right? So to keep it a long story short, it's kind of like wanted to give a bit of some dialogue, there's some back, some context. Like to me, there's nothing wrong in me being a freelancer or being an entrepreneur, but you have to start somewhere. If someone doesn't give you it, or if someone does give it, like the main goal, regardless, is to become a solo entrepreneur. Is to make sure you're working for yourself, because I said no one wants to work for the rest of their life. No one wants to like work until like 60, 75 years. Like come on, nobody wants to work that long. Everybody wants to chill, be some in Turkey, be some in Bahamas, be some in Saudi Arabia. Like, nobody wants to work for the rest of their life. So, yeah, man, the kind of like the motivation or the moral of the story, just to like, believe in yourself, keep working hard, obviously, you give God thanks or Allah thanks, and, you make sure you put your best foot forward every single day. And yeah, let's just kind of get into this video here real quick. Oh, sorry, I forgive, but I had it really low. And then I think that I was supposed to switch. Check my life. Let's go. Oh, why the hell? Okay, bro, what is it? What is all the issues? Okay, hold on. Oh, bro, my bad. Alright, okay, alright, let's go. I don't know why it ended up meeting this whole thing. Alright, let's go. Yeah, that bro, that is cap, man. Yo, if you ever get scammed by that, like that laptop lifestyle, whatever, bro, that is the biggest scam of 20, bro. That is who's an actual scammer, bro. Like, yo, bro. If any of you believe in this laptop lifestyle, bro, come on, man. That first of all, that ain't for everybody, and then two, like that lifestyle ain't true, man. Like no one isn't like chilling on some beach with a laptop, and I'm like bro, if you're chilling, you're chilling, bro. And if you're working, you're working. And if you're gonna be working, you're gonna be working in an office, and you're not gonna be working on a beach. Like, come on, man. Don't ever get scammed by that, man. Please. It is made for cloud. Oh shoot, bro. Oh my gosh, my bad. Technical difficulties yet again. I'll have to rewind that again. Uh, bro, this is so annoying. Bro, OBS, man, fix your, bro. Alright, let me run this back again.
Yesterday, I got home after a long day of
Bro,
slaving
OBS
away
man,
for
bro.
some tech company in
I hate
exchange for the
OBS man.
crumbs my boss so generously drops into my account at the end of each month. And like every good office drone, the first thing I did after getting home was open my phone for a good old session of doom scrolling. That's when I was bombarded with an endless barrage of TikToks
Yeah,
and
this is
YouTube
bound
shorts
also
featuring
out
some guy
talking
lounging on a
about.
beach, coconut in one hand, laptop in the other, bragging about
It's a
how he
cap
made
lifestyle.
$10,000
Don't
last
forfeit.
month freelancing. It all looked so simple, so glamorous. But here's the question. Is that really the freelancer life or just a highlight reel made for clout? Because while the dream of freedom and working on your own terms is real, the harsh truths that come with it often get skipped over. So let's break it down. Oh, but before we start, it looks like almost
Yeah, skip past this.
tied to one employer. One week you'd be designing a startup's website, and the next week you're debugging some stranger's WordPress site at 2 in the morning because they forgot their password and now their site has mysteriously vanished. It's not the same as remote work, where you're technically employed but just happen to work from home. Freelancing means you are the business, for better or worse. Now, let's talk about the shiny parts of freelancing, the reasons people romanticize it in the first place. The biggest one is freedom, obviously. You don't have a boss breathing down your neck or telling you to show up at 9 sharp. You can set your own hours, choose your own projects, and even decide where you want to work from. Maybe that's a cafe in Lisbon, maybe it's your mom's basement, no judgment. And if you're good at what you do, freelancing can actually pay more than a traditional 9 to 5 because you're not locked into a fixed salary. Instead, you can juggle multiple clients and stack projects in ways that let you scale your income. Plus, you get exposure to different industries and skills, which keeps the work interesting instead of repetitive. But of course,
but even as you say this, it may sound simple or it may sound easy, but I said there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes to do that. Because remember, you first saw, like, it's just basic questions or basic answers that you have to find for yourself, right? It's that what is the niche market that you're going to go into, like what are these clients that you're going to provide your services to or your skills to, right? Like what can you offer them, like from looking at their website, are they, or looking at their business, is there anything that you can improve? Is there something that they are lacking? That you can come in, with your skills or with your services, and obviously create a package for that business, and obviously sell your services or your skills to them. Like that's just really how it works. But I said that also is simply said, because you still have to obviously go there and find the clients. And when we go to some people, they may not like just they might understand the issue that you're coming with, but you may not have any credibility or the followers to back up with what you're saying to. So as I said, it may sound easier sound, but there's still a lot of work that goes behind the scenes in order to achieve that goal.
Perk comes with a catch. Freelancing isn't all smooth sailing. It's unstable. 1 month you're flush with projects and clients, and the next you're staring at your inbox, refreshing every 10 minutes, wondering if your career has ended overnight. There's no guaranteed paycheck, no paid vacation, and definitely no health benefits or retirement plans unless you set those up yourself. And while freedom sounds nice, it also means you wear every hat. You're the boss, the HR department, the accountant, and the marketing team. Oh, and freelancing can get lonely. There's no water cooler talk or coworkers to vent.
Which I know is another good point there as well too, because remember you have to. I mean, to be fair, you can't turn freelancing into a business, technically, because you can't just, obviously if money is running, good, you can obviously hire your own like marketing agency, your own HR, and all those kind of stuff. Because if we're really gonna be honest, like that's how Microsoft and Google and Nike and Adidas, that's how all these companies started off. Like they started off as solo entrepreneurs, and obviously they worked out day and night whatever to get their business where they are now. So I mean, obviously yes, it's going to be lonely, it's going to be tiring, but you have to pay the work every single day.
Just you and the occasional existential crisis at your desk. So, what does it actually take to succeed at this game? Discipline, for one. Nobody is going to tell you to wake up and get to work. So if you're not self-motivated, you'll sink fast. You also need to learn how to sell yourself, because freelancing is 30% skill, 10% luck, 40% marketing, 5% pleasure, 15% concentrated power of will, and 100% reason to pay your bills this month. So, building a strong portfolio...
Basically everything that he's saying is very true. You have to like set your Instagram or like your LinkedIn, basically what I'm doing right here too. Like you have to, show your projects, show what you can do, and also you start to market yourself as well. I mean, even if you had to pay for marketing, like if you had to collaborate with other, entrepreneurs or other businesses or whatever, like you have to, get yourself out there, because that's another massive thing about Freelancer too, because as you said, like, to me, I'll be, if I had to be generous, like, 70% is just marketing and 30% is just skill, because you need to market yourself. Because if you don't market yourself, like, nobody ain't gonna know who you is. You know what I mean? Nobody ain't gonna know who's this Josiah the Dev person, who's this, Zach the developer, or who is this, Corey the developer. Like, nobody isn't gonna know. Like, you have to, put in the work you have to market yourself all day and, collaborate with other members and, just show what you can do. But you have to put it in an entertaining way as well. But it's like, you have to try to put it in an entertaining way too. But then we're in Gen Z, right? We're in this, generation or where, everybody, like, everybody has like this main, well, I shouldn't say main character, but like, kind of like main character, but not really main character. Like, they like, but it's just so confusing to it. Like everybody just like so brainwashed and like, they don't really understand how certain things like run. So it's a very tough market really out here. So it isn't easy as it may sound.
Portfolio and reputation is essential, since clients want proof before they trust you with their money.
Yeah,
On top of that,
that's it,
you've got to
yeah.
be financially literate, meaning you understand how to invoice, budget for dry months, and unfortunately deal with taxes. Yes, freelancing means you'll spend a shocking amount of time Googling tax laws instead of coding or designing. That raises the question, who is freelancing really for? It's perfect if you're a self-starter, adaptable, and willing to handle uncertainty. If you thrive on independence and can manage juggling multiple clients without losing your mind, freelancing might be a dream come true. But if you crave stability, love having a clear career ladder, or break into a sweat at the thought of sending cold emails, freelancing is going to feel more like a nightmare. So, should you become a freelancer? Honestly, it depends. It's not just sipping coconuts in Bali while money pours into your account, but it's not all
Yeah.
doom and gloom either. If you're ready to take full responsibility for your work, your income, and your growth, freelancing can be one of the most rewarding ways to build a career. And the best way to get clients, if you are a freelancer, is showing off cool projects that prove you know your stuff. And the easiest way to build those kinds of projects? That's where today's sponsor,
Yeah, we saw there. But yeah, he isn't like, there's no cap in his rap there, because as I said, like, there's nothing wrong with either wanting to be a freelancer or either wanting to, be like a solo entrepreneur. Like, it's really on what you want to do as, as a human being, right? But if I genuinely have to be honest, like, I'm sure there's no human being on this planet who genuinely wants to, clock in at a 9 to 5 job. Like, there's nobody. And if you are that person, well, I mean, fair to you, man. You can do you. But not for me, nah, bro. I can't be locked in. Ain't no 9 to 5 for no one for like 10, 20, bro. That's terrible, man. Like I don't mind doing overseas like 5, 6 years, because as a kid you have to build up your wealth and all this kind of stuff. But like, when you're in when you're in the 30s or 40s or 50s, like, bro, like, come on, man, 30s, 40s, 50s, still working for someone is like, nah, bro, I'm good, man. And especially it is a bit easier, but also harder as well too, because I said AI really has come in to disrupt the market. But at the same time too, you have to know how to leverage AI with all these different tools and or like just basically all these different tools that they have out there. Like, you just have to know how to balance it. So the second video I'll just here react to, and I said my time is a bit limited here, is that I wanted to react to this one right here.
I spent years.
So the mistakes that keep junior developers, the mistakes that keep junior devs junior. I'm glad, but that title is crazy, man. But yeah, I think that kind of like goes into what I was saying a bit earlier, in my monologue a bit earlier here, that there is something very suspicious about, as I said, the resume that I have, which just to kind of give a short, point of view on my resume. I mean, it had cybersecurity, Python, web development, databases. Like, those are things that, junior developers, that's what they're supposed to have, right? So if I, have those certificates and those skills that I listed out in my resume, how on earth am I not getting a job? I mean, as I said, it could be maybe I don't have the lack of experience. Maybe if the job was probably full, but like why put a job post out there if it's already full? Like that makes no sense. So it's a bit confusing to me on why there's such a shift or like there's such this corruption or I don't know what it is, man. Like it's just shocking to me because I said my resume is very good, so I don't understand how on earth when the resume I had it just got bland. You know what I mean? But hey, man, I mean some people may say probably this didn't look presentable, but I mean there's a lot of people that I know that use that same resume and got through. So I don't know, man. It's strange, but let's see what this video is explaining. Maybe it could probably shine a different light on something I may have missed. So we'll see.
Trapped as a junior developer. Not because I didn't know how to code. I could write functions. I understood loops, conditionals, data structures. I'd finished dozens of courses, but I was still stuck. And I didn't understand why until I realized the one thing I'd never done. I'd never shipped a real project. I'm talking about a project that wasn't a tutorial. A project where I had to figure out the requirements myself. A project where things broke in ways the tutorial never mentioned. And I had to fix it anyway. That's the difference between...
So basically, and again, I think this kind of goes back to what we would have watched in the previous video here, is that basically what they're saying is that it's about marketing, right? So basically what they're trying to like just say from those two videos, right, is that they're saying that you have to show proof, you have to show that you can build stuff, that you can market yourself, because as I already said, 70% of it is marketing and 30% of it is showing your skill, right? So you have to figure out a way to that 30% is obviously building the project, and then the 70% would be how you can now market that project now to other businesses, and and hopefully amen, like pray to God that they see it and you get a job from it. So
a junior developer and someone who's actually growing. And most juniors never cross that line. Here's what I mean. When you're doing tutorials, everything is laid out. The instructor tells you what to build, how to build it, the exact steps. It's safe, it's comfortable, and it teaches you almost nothing. Because real development is chaos, unclear requirements, users who want features you didn't plan for, bugs that only happen in production. You can't learn that from a tutorial. You can only learn it by doing. But most juniors never ship. They're terrified. They think their project has to be perfect, original. So they never start, or they quit halfway because it's not as polished as the apps they use daily. You're comparing your first project to apps built by teams over years. But that's not the point. The point is you're learning things you can't learn any other way. When I finally...
but the thing about it with this one, again, that kind of goes back to what I'm saying about, these companies, they ask for like, you have to be like 3, 4, 5 years as a junior developer. Like you must have these experiences, which, is impossible, because how for 3, 4, 5 years if I'm not coming out of school, and even if you show that, you did projects as well, right, that they still don't accept you, because in my resume, I also show that, but look, I built this project for school or whatever, like a student booking system, or like a project managing system, like a food managing system or whatever. Like I've shown that I can build these things, but why for some reason is my application still getting rejected? You know what I mean? So again, like it's very confusing. Like that's why I'm stuttering with this, because I'm like, what else is the reason? Like what else can be the reason? Like obviously as a junior developer, I cannot just come out of school, right, and just have 3, 4 years experience. That's quite literally impossible. You know what I mean? Like unless you're probably like working on doing school. I mean, maybe that could probably mean something. I'm not sure. But again, it's like, and I'm even myself too, if I had to, forget what I said about 3, 4 years and in school. Like even with school, right? Like you have to also be mindful of, and what they're teaching you. Is it preparing you for, modern day web applications or modern day systems? That's another question too, because you can go to school for like 3, 4 years or whatever, get your bachelor's degree, but when you come out of school now, can you comfortably say that you can apply what you learned into a real world or into a modern day application. So then, like, I mean, that's another question too, because now technology is, advancing, day by day. So is it that the school curriculum is that advancing day by day? You know what I mean? So all that is like question that you just have to ask yourself, and the institute that you're going to, are they answering that question as well to yourself? So
Shipped my first real project, it was terrible. The code was a mess. The UI looked like it was designed by someone who hates users. About 3 people used it, and one of them was my mom. But I learned more from that one project than I did from 6 months of tutorials, because I had to figure out deployment, error handling for cases I didn't expect.
Oh yeah, I'm also, man, bro, there's AI as well too, man. Like, come on, bro, like, it's big 2026, man. Like, why are we not using AI? You know what I mean? Like obviously, yes, you don't want to, just build a project, right? And you don't understand, what is being built. So obviously, you try your best to, have AI explain to you step by step in comments what our code function does, right? So, like, yes, it may take a couple of lessons or a couple of hours to, understand, or even research as well to understand, to, build up your app or whatever. But I mean, it's like the world is moving so quickly, man. Like you can't, man. It's just like the world is expecting you to be like a junior developer, then become like a senior developer, and then become like a CEO of developers. Like it's moving. The world's moving so quickly that you just have to use every advantage as you can to get ahead. And I mean, AI is probably one of the biggest examples to get ahead. But obviously, too, AI makes the mistakes. I'm not trying to say that you're just going to chat you type, hey, build this web application for me or whatever, and then it gives you like this completely terrible web application. So it's like you have to still obviously understand what you're building, but obviously still use AI to help you build it quicker.
To read documentation for libraries that didn't have tutorials. I had to debug issues Google didn't have answers for. And all of that made me better. Employers don't care about tutorial projects. They care if you can solve problems.
Yep.
If you can take something from idea to working product, the only way to prove that is by showing them something you built and shipped, something you made decisions on, something you debugged, something real. But I don't have an idea. You don't need one. Build a to-do app. Build a weather app. Build a clone of something you use. It doesn't matter. The value is in going from 0 to deployed, in all the things that break and figuring out how to fix them. That's what turns you from...
So basically what you're trying to say, just build something. Just show that you can do something. Doesn't matter if it's an app that's already out. Just show that you have the capability, you have the ability to, or you have the skill in order to build this application like that. That's basically all you say. Which to me, that is good, but still, I find, again, how the world is in 2026, you still have to be creative. Like, okay, yes, but, and again, this probably just me. This is me just trying to be a bit different, because I don't really like just copy something. Like, if I really had to show a business something, like, okay, let me put it like this. There's nothing wrong in building those like weather apps or those to-do list apps. But what else can be added to make those apps better? Instead of me trying to like recreate or come up with a whole new design, what feature or what security system, what else can you add in those apps that already exist? What you can from using those apps and breaking it down or whatever, and trying to understand the logic of that of that app. What can you learn and what can you build over from that app, right? And to make it better. Because I always say as well, that small changes is better than than these massive wide changes and you don't understand what you're building. So that's something that I keep in mind too.
Someone who knows syntax into someone who can build things. The other thing juniors do is build locally and never deploy. They'll spend weeks perfecting a project on their laptop.
Bro, let's use Firebase.
It's almost as bad, because deploying is where you learn the hard lessons. Environment variables, QRS, databases that work differently in production, SSL certificates, and DNS. Those things separate juniors from people who actually ship. So here's what I want you.
And all those things are important, because ENV that just like keeps. ENV is like that's a file, or if you using Visual Studio Code, you understand what I'm talking about. As like when you keep like all your private information from like the website. Then CORS, those are like security systems set in place in DNS, but that's like your domain, the SSL certificate of not really quite learned that part as yet. Then databases, well, I mean, can go on the database, and it's like, making sure you're saving your customers' information and all those kind of stuff.
DNS. Those things separate juniors from people who actually ship. So here's what I want you to do. Stop watching tutorials for a month. Pick one project. It doesn't have to be impressive. It doesn't have to be original. It just has to be something you build from start to finish and deploy. Put it on the internet, even if it's broken, even if it's ugly, even if nobody uses it. Because finishing something and putting it out there will teach you more than another React course ever will. And here's the thing about shipping. Once you do it once, it gets easier. The first project is terrifying. The second one is uncomfortable. By the third one, you start to feel like you know what you're doing. And that's when you stop being a junior. Not when you finish your 10th course, not when you memorize every JavaScript method, but when you can take an idea, build it, and ship it without needing someone to hold your hand. Now let's get to the
So that's really good what he's saying here to be, because again, it's nothing. I'm gonna give you a bit of a secret here too. I mean, I am using right now ChatGPT to help me, understand like Python coding and this kind of stuff, because there's a few skills that I have to learn. So I'm using ChatGPT in order to help me just break down these documents online. So let's explain to me and kind of like give me examples so I know exactly what to do. So I'm not like wasting my time and I'm just getting straight into it, right? Because I'm basically telling ChatGPT is like, let's give me a summary version of what this topic means. Give me examples of it. Show me how this code or whatever can be used in real life, and just kind of give me a test. And I just save it in like my Google Drive or in my folder, right? So I'm just like slowly just learning these topics one by one, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you can't just learn all of this in just one day. You have to take it step by step, day by day. So he isn't wrong in what he's saying, that you should obviously still go through those tutorials or like just understand the meaning. But the point about it is that make sure that once you learn a topic or whatever, like you build something, like you just get into it one time, like you try to see what you learn, how is that code applied into real life situations, and that is really how you come better at it. And let's react to like one more video, because it's like my time is a bit limited here. And let's go to is it the end of software engineering?
All right, I'm seeing the
and let's go into this here real quick. Is it the end of software engineering? I don't think so. I think I think right now, because of AI, which I'm sure that's probably what this video here is gonna be about. I'm just guessing my terms. I don't watch this video said before, so I did this like my raw natural reaction to this video. I wouldn't say software development is coming to, and I would say it's just advancing right now because of AI. And like I would say AI is helping a lot of developers move quickly, especially if you know what to do. If you don't know what to do, I mean, you also will move slower, because you don't have the knowledge to know exactly what is what, right? So I would say that AI is just now coming into the people that is now starting to get a bit comfortable with us, and just still trying to obviously understand it. But maybe 2-3 years, everybody, 4 or 5 years, everybody like be normal and chilling with it. But for now, how it is, everybody will kind of be a bit confused and don't know what the hell this application could do. Because I'm telling you, AI, bro, and that solves a lot of problems, but it also creates a lot of problems too. Can't lie about that. But I was a software engineering. It's come to end, man. It is advancing how software developers work now.
All right, I'm seeing the panic everywhere. Devs losing jobs, AI taking over.
Yeah, but you see,
everyone's acting like the world is ending. Let me just be straight up to save everyone's time and your blood pressure. Is software engineering dying? No. Is it getting harder? Yeah. Here's the story. Everyone's obsessed with AI right now. Every conference, every podcast, every LinkedIn post is about how AI is the future and developers are obsolete. But most of these people have zero skin in the game. They're not building anything.
That is true to like, bro. Again, AI isn't gonna take over, right? Unless during time AI is taking over, is if it can start building its own self. You know what I mean? Like if your AI can start building its own self, then we are cooked. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to like go live in Antarctica or something, man, because yo, we are cooked. But anything other than that, like yo, you like as I was, basically explaining a bit earlier here, like, I am using AI to help me understand how to build AI, right? Because, you have to, you can't just build something and not understand, like, that makes completely zero, like, there's no common sense in that. How can you build an application? I mean, when you go to try selling out a company, they have to use any questions, well, I don't know, where is the database connected to? Is there any role-based assignment to it? Like, if they start asking these questions, you just sound a bit like you need to understand, you need to know what you're building. You can't just go out and just build something that you just tell ChatGPT, hey, just build me this application or whatever. Like you need to know what you're building. Like you can't just build random stuff, man.
They're just watching TikTok compilations of ChatGPT doing basic stuff and assuming AI will steal their girl. The reality, demand for developers is still insane. Companies still need people who can think. The problem is they don't know what they need anymore. They're chasing every new trend instead of building stable products. One week it's microservices, next week it's serverless, then it's edge computing. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. They just know it needs to sound cool and involve AI somehow. And that's where it gets interesting. The developers who are struggling right now are the ones who were coasting. They memorized React patterns, copy-pasted Stack Overflow, and never actually learned how to code. Now that the bar got raised, they're panicking. But the developers who actually understand systems, who can read terrible code and figure out what's broken, who can reason about architecture, those people are fine. They're more valuable than ever.
But you see, the thing about it too as well, I would still say AI can still, do debugging and still, understand code, of course, but the thing I want to do is that it's still, remember, AI is like a student, right? You have to teach it, to do things, right? Because sometimes it may not have the required knowledge in order to do something. So you have to teach it in a way how you want it to respond, or what information you would like it to have, and then also it respond based on the information that you give it, right? Like you can't, give it information on food, but you want it, you want it to build like build like a booking service for you, something like that. Like it wouldn't build it because it doesn't have the required knowledge in order to build those systems, right? So it's like those people who are struggling to get themselves out there because of AI. Like those are those people that didn't really study. Like I said, like as I literally mentioned, I'm literally using AI right now to help me understand, coding, because I said, like I went to school, well, so I'm still going in school, but for the past 2 years, with school, right? Like I would say that I'm surprised that there was nothing really taught with AI. You know what I mean? So it's like I had to literally go back now to the whole beginning and adjust my my learning schedule to AI, because like what they were teaching us, they just like basic stuff that like it doesn't really apply to real world. So it's like you have to put yourself in that shoes, in that direction, where you can understand what your code is doing. You can understand what is cybersecurity. You can understand what is JavaScript and all these different frameworks and softwares.
Cut the hype. As the industry explodes globally, competition is getting close. You've got developers in markets where cost of living is a fifth of yours, willing to work for pennies. But here's the catch. They don't know your code base. They don't have the context. They don't have the experience to make the judgment calls that separate a working system from a disaster. That's why the best developers are still in demand. Experience matters. Problem solving matters. Understanding why something works, not just how to make it work, matters. Now, AI companies are burning cash like
and again that kind of goes back to the whole junior developer situation what we're talking about, because I said companies, so this is what I'm saying. So like now, how as a youth person, like if companies are now asking for these experienced developers, like how a junior developer now, how am I gonna get this experience now? So it's like I tell you, man, the market is really messed up, man, because like I said, they're saying one thing, but then there's a whole other meaning to it, like where it makes no sense. And again, so if I'm going to be very honest too, like nobody isn't entitled to teach you something, especially a company. A company isn't entitled to teach you something, but you obviously you should have the basic knowledge to know certain things and then understand what is a company's goals. That's probably the best thing you can do. You know what I mean? So to be fair, yes, I can understand that, you know, some people may not want to teach you certain things. All right, that's cool, that's fine. But like at the same time, you still need to understand, you know, what is the company's goals, and what is the, you know, that the achievement that, or what is the goal that they are trying to achieve as well, you know.
They're operating at losses that would kill any normal business, but instead of fixing their models, they just keep raising prices and hoping nobody notices. Developers paying for AI tools are already figuring out it's not worth it. The tools are expensive, half the features don't work, and they still need a human to fix the output. So what happens? The tools get cheaper or they disappear. And when that happens, the real work still needs to get done by people, real developers. The industry will stabilize. It always does. What won't change is that companies will always need people who can build, maintain, and scale systems. The weak developers will get pushed out. The mediocre ones will have to actually get better. And the good ones, they'll be fine. They'll adapt. They'll keep learning. They'll stay relevant. So is software engineering dying? No. Is it getting harder? Yeah. But if you were actually good at this job, harder just means you're finally being paid what you're worth. Now, let's get to the sponsor of this.
So basically what you're trying to say, you know, for those junior developers, those people that are still not yet good at coding, hey man, you just gotta get better, man. You know what I mean? And you just gotta keep putting, you know, keep, you know, grinding, you know, keep like, you know, making sure you're understanding what you're building, and you know, make sure you're just the best at it, man, because that's literally the only way how you're gonna survive in this game. You're literally, you know, if you want to become a developer, you're literally just gonna have to put in work and literally just, you know, understand all the concepts, and you know, just get better at it, man. Just get better at it. And that may sound scary too, but it's like, you know, you just have to like learn things, man. Like that's really all it is. Like you're just learning day by day, and then making sure like you're not wasting your time. Like you know, you stick to a consistent, you know, like time schedule, and you just making sure you spend 1 hour a day, and you just learn the code and keep getting better. So that's really much you can really do from there. But let's switch out here real quick. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of like you know, have a come to a close here, because I said trying to run for a bit of an hour here, not really, you know, go too long, because I kind of have some stuff to go and do real quick here. But yeah, make sure you like the video, share, subscribe, way out. And as I hope that this was an informative and you know, interesting video here for you all to learn, and for you all to, you know, just, you know, get a knowledge from this video here, from, you know, all the videos that we would have watched. Sorry for my stuttering. From all the videos that we would have watched, I hope that you all would have learned a thing or two, and that, you know, you can apply it into your life. So yeah, I'm gonna get you back in another one, and peace out, guys.